is insane.
I don't think he's going to get a chance. If I'm nerdRage...
It's like Kerberos and Chaos, you just cannot let it happen.
If I'm nerdRage, I'm looking at banning out that Evelynn, and consistently against nerdRage, Evelynn has been banned. No, sorry, against MnM, Evelynn has been banned. In the only game they played in the Prem so far, they banned it. They just didn't want to deal with Evelynn, and I'm not surprised.
I definitely don't blame them. But some more kind of safe bans coming out. Corki is just one of those. It's like Karma in the last game. It's super safe in the mid lane. You get a Hex Drinker. Most AP mages cannot deal with you, except with the exception of maybe LeBlanc, who can surprise you. Everyone else is pretty predictable.
I believe Hedge has actually played Corki as an AD carry in earlier games. I know AD carry Corki has been played. Kalista, we've already spoken about, really strong at the moment, so taking that away, probably going to expect a fresh to join them from either of these sides. Janna being banned. We saw the impact Janna can have with a hyper carry. No surprise there, it's taken off the board. Janna,
Thresh, Karma, Lulu, any of these shield-based supports that really benefit from the Ardent Sensor meta that we're in right now are always a good one to take away. But as you alluded to, Thresh, Kalista, 100% presence in pro play, banned away pretty much every single game because people just don't want to deal with them. It's the same story here.
Yeah, the Shadow Isles lane is too strong. Just going to have to take it out of the way. Caitlyn as well. I mean, Caitlyn wasn't banned last game, was she?
No, she's gone up and down in terms of pick ban. It's been, over the last few patches, it's been kind of a rocky one for her, but because of the potential that she has, again, you know, I think with the Ardent Sensor meta that we're in, she starts laying down those headshots with so much protection. You can't do anything about her.
Yeah, I mean, she was one of the highest pick ban in the Prem for AD carries. I believe she's only been played once, and the rest of the time she was banned until this week. So banning that away from Hedge, yeah, it's not a surprise. It seems to be a safe pick in the Prem to ban away Gragas. Another follow-up, incredibly strong jungler, being taken away from Candyfloss this time. Don't really think that's a target. If they wanted to, if they really wanted to let Candyfloss do this, he could get his Evelynn right now if he wants it. But Rifty, just going to take that Jarvan. I think he's going to end up playing that in the top lane, as we see more people tend to do now.
Evelynn, I think, is great when you can rely on your laners to just stomp over their opponents and just basically snowball your way to victory very quickly, as we've seen them do in the past. Here, you want something safe, like the Elise, like the Zac, like the Gragas, which has been banned away here. Anything that they can take, I think, that plays into this comp, especially, like, say, the sensor-based composition we're seeing a lot lately, it makes a lot more sense. So maybe he does prefer the Evelynn, but it just doesn't make sense for the composition at this time, so doesn't want to take that risk.
Varus being picked up there, could be flexed mid or AD carry. Definitely going to go AD carry now, because Syndra going to be going over to Kakan in the mid lane.
Syndra, she's one of those mid laners that you'd never really touch on that much, but she always shows her face in strange places. Like I'll expect to see other mid laners at the minute, like we saw the Karma in the last game round. You'll see the Cassiopeia sometimes, the Talia if she's available. Syndra gets picked up every now and then, and when she does, we're like, oh yeah, she's an absolute nightmare to deal with. And I was going to say, the kind of thing you see get taken against to offset that burst is things like the Galio in the mid lane. But if I recall correctly, we saw MnM play this very defensive style before, where you had the Jarvan in the top lane, you have something like the Galio in the mid lane. It didn't really work out for them. It's not their style of play.
Well, speaking of defense, you've got one of the tankiest supports going, Alistar, being picked up for Adam.
See, here, nerdRage have got to start thinking, right, we know exactly what these guys want to do now. They want to try and put as much defense on as they can onto Zandia here. All eggs in the Zandia basket, just like last game for Latch. They've got a pick here to take that away. They've got bans. They've got the first pick after that. Yeah. Realistically, here, they can freeze out 6 different picks for MnM Gaming.
What I think they really need to do on the side of nerdRage here is don't ban out the junglers. Let the jungler go through. Ban out the AD carries. Yeah. You're going to get first pick. Take away some of these really strong hyper carries and give yourself, like you said, that first pick over to you and make sure you get one for yourself. But there's not really that supportive build at the moment. I mean, Morgana technically has a black shield, but it's not the one you expect to see built with an Ardent Sensor, so they don't really need to go down that route. Instead, they're going to target what they think is going to be the top lane and target Camille.
So they're thinking here that Rifty is probably taking this, this Java pick, is going into the jungle for Candyfloss rather than putting him in the top lane. Yeah. It's a strange one because MnM haven't taken away their AD carry, and quite commonly what you'll see in the first round of draft is a jungler, AD carry, support. Yeah. They haven't gone for that, so now they've got the option here on nerdRage to ban out any AD carries they don't want to play against, like you said. But you've got to consider there are several options here. A lot of AD carries are strong. You've got the Tristana, you've got things like the Cogmore. We've already seen 2 bans come away. They can't possibly ban out every AD carry that might come against them.
Taking out Xayah instead.
Sensible pick, sensible ban even.
Sensible ban. One thing I said, although common sense says to you that Galio is picked in the mid lane to go against the Syndra, technically the Galio can be flexed top and they can still take Jarvan jungle if things got dire. But, you know, MnM, they've targeted out junglers. They went for Maokai and then they went for Zac on their bans as well. So they really want to put them at a disadvantage, try and get Nutri onto an inefficient jungler. They banned away 3 of the best ones going at the moment. Elise still available for them if they want some early pick damage, but I'm thinking looking at what they've got so far, they're going to need to get something a little bit tankier.
I heard the ding sound then and I thought, they locked it. They
locked in Braum. I was like,
what?
Excuse me?
Okay, my heart may rest. Rumble in the top lane.
I think it was Snoopy who ran Morgana jungle in like season 2.
People were running like Ashe mid back in those days,
Yeah.
so you can discount anything from season 1 and season 2. But let's touch again on the Rumble. Rumble got remade a couple, well, not so much remade, but slightly reworked a couple of patches ago, where he can't just spam his Q at all lane phase. It's more windowed now, but when he has it up, he clears waves ridiculously quick.
Oh, big time.
So he actually has a really nice amount of early pressure in the early game, and can often usually offset these more aggressive top laners. I'm looking at things like the Jarvan, like the Jace that's been locked in here in the top lane, and it will be that Galio, by the looks of it, going into the mid lane.
Yeah, Jace picked up a few bans throughout the season of the Prem this thing. No one's actually managed to be playing it yet, because no one's bothered to pick it up, despite it being banned so heavily. Jace is still a flex pick. You probably want the Galio against the Syndra matchup, but even if they wanted to put the Jace mid, they could do so, have Galio go against the Rumble, they think he would fare better. But I think, like I said, we're probably going to see Jace in that top lane.
Rumble in the jungle. Nutri. That's a Nutri special.
I suppose it is now. We got Renekton in top lane going up against Jace. Going to have Galio in the mid lane against Kakan. Rumble in the jungle.
That's a really... I think that was actually a flex they planned out there, because this is very, very sensible. Rifty is renowned for his Jace play. He really loves it. It's a very aggressive top laner. And as we've seen him when he's played on things like Fiora, he likes to win his lane. He doesn't like sitting there playing tanks. It's not his play style. He's all about the aggression, about crushing your opponent and then translating that victory or that advantage into other lanes. That's what he's trying to do with the Jace right here. And like I say, very sensibly, if they'd kept that Rumble, it wouldn't really be the most ideal lane for Artorias playing on the Rumble. But he's gone, you know what, guys? Nutri, you can play Rumble. Take the Rumble, I'll take the Renekton, and I'll stand up against him with that pick. I really like nerdRage's comp here. I think it's very different. When was the last time you saw a Varus, a Morgana, a Syndra?
When was the last time you saw a Rumble in the jungle?
I know, it's been a while. We've seen it a couple of times. I think in LCK it was picked up quite a few times. Although that seems to be a very, very good scapegoat a lot of the time. I think we saw it in LCK once or twice, and no one's going to go and check.
Maybe no, if you wanted to do that, you'd say like JPL or LMS.
Exactly.
Only the super dedicated people will go and watch like LMS or JPL. But then maybe even LCL. You could go Russian League.
If you really want to go what's the word I'm thinking here?
That deep? That far astray?
Oh, that deep, yeah, that crazy and strange. You could say that, absolutely. But Nutri, again, he's one of the players who can pull this off, and they have confidence in him to make it work. It's a risk, most definitely. If you get shut down early, you're useless, but he's thinking he can make an impact.
Well, I'm just thinking of the CC here. You have Varus throw out those corrupting chains onto a target, immediately drop the equalizer on top of it. You've got a good stun duration there to get a couple of ticks off of that one. Combine that with any other damage you want to throw at it. You could blow up these squishy targets if we could find Hedge getting those corrupting chains on target.
Absolutely, and let's not forget Morgana, one of the longest, or if not the longest snare in the game at this point.
Binding from Fog of War. Rumble ult from Fog of War.
Everyone remembers the memes.
You could die without even seeing the opponents.
Everyone remembers the memes of the days of Morgana got a snare on me, I'm AFK, report me. That's exactly what it's all about, because her snare duration is pretty ridiculous. And if you stack that up with the rest of their CC, good luck. If she catches anyone with a binding, Syndra is going to get a stun down. They are gone.
Scat of the week.
They are
gone.
gone.
Of the week. Ruthless Predator.
Yep.
Dark Binding.
Yep.
You've got her ultimate. You've got Corrupting Chains. If you wanted to really count it, you've got the slow from Hail of Arrows as well.
There's loads of slows in that team from the... Yeah.
But I'm saying the options is there's a lot of CC there, and when you've got AoE spells coming out on certain members of this team, it's going to be super impactful.
Its catch is probably the best way to describe this team. They want to go for those catches, those picks early on if they can. It's very weird because it's kind of a reverse scenario where the laners have got the CC and the jungler has got the damage. That's what they're relying on, is the Rumble to come flying and get that red buff down, but charcoal the opponents essentially, and then to see them die.
Syndra hasn't got damage.
She's got a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's what you just said.
She's got a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's what you said.
It was more that it's more that you're relying on the laners to provide the CC, and you're referring to the Rumble just to bring in the damage. Yeah. It's not that the others won't do damage, but you're relying exclusively on the Rumble for his damage. He doesn't really bring.
But that's what he brings to a gank. I mean, he's got an obnoxious slow if he can land the
Electro Harpoons.
The Electro Harpoons. Thanks for saving me on that one.
Great, mate. Don't worry.
There's a lot of
I don't want you to start quoting Clash cards or something, so I thought I'd save you with that one.
I haven't actually.
He's going to start using his Sparky.
So, no, to be fair, it does look like a Sparky, but that's a different game.
Hey, Mr. Sparky, come on.
Sparky, the worst legendary in the game.
Frustrates the hell out of me.
Right,
wrong game, we'll talk about this later.
Speaking of games anyway, we're jumping into one. MnM versus nerdRage, our second matchup, and kind of our special matchup of Week 5. It's the one we and you have been looking forward to the most, and I'm hoping you guys have also been looking forward to it as well. I'm not going to say it's all downhill from here. It might possibly be.
We'd have no idea until the game kicks off. But, you know, after this game, we might be stepping into uncharted territory as well. We might actually see a third game of the Prem in a week.
Yeah, that would be the first week of Prem. We get at least
more
than 2 games.
We're on it, boys. We're into new waters after this one, but this one is the one to watch. I think we said at the start of the day this was our game to watch, and you know we were also asked by production, can you keep an eye out who you think is the MVP for this week? This will probably be the game we really see a standout performer define which side is going to win.
Could well be at the moment. I mean, if you had to pick an MVP from game 1, who would it be?
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although Latch played well, he was supported by 2 members of his team. They were basically shield bots all game.
I'd say I couldn't even give it over to Rengus either because he made a lot of misplays.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, we'll think about that in the break.
TBX.
Yeah, we'll think about it more in the break. But Rifty stealing away a couple of camps from Nutri. I believe he got 2 of those small birds. Didn't get the big one, but he's going to try and set Nutri back. Head over to the top lane, because I don't think he really wants that super early engagement. He's allowed Artorias to push this into the tower against him as well, so he might fare a little bit better with the safety of his tower behind him.
There's one thing they didn't really consider is that Renekton can shove lanes very, very well, so it makes it... You're pointing at me like a madman.
I'm pointing at you like Candy Floss just stole...
Yes.
Just stole the blue buff away from Nutri. He's really far behind now.
Yes. They're trying, like I said earlier on, if you can shut this Rumble out of the game, then what does he bring? He doesn't have any CC like an Elise or a Zac might if they're coming in from behind. You're relying on his damage, and to have damage, you need to stay relevant. So what do? You just camp him, you make sure he can't do anything in these games, and right now, he hasn't got a buff. He's had 1 camp taken. He's taken 1 camp thus far. He's still sat at level 1, and Candy Floss is still here.
He's still there. He's burned Flash. He's got Flash already. Why isn't his team coming to help him? First blood going over to Candy Floss.
Tilt.
No, that would tilt me as a Rumble.
But
speaking of tilt, Hedge, he's got an Ignite ticking away. Flashing from Zandia. There's the heal coming out. There's a heal of his own. The explosive bomb will get himself the kill. Zandia would have been first blood if it wasn't for the stupid Rumble play in the jungle, but Zandia picks up a kill in lane.
Does indeed, and this is always going to be a rough one. In fact, Candy getting spotted out in the jungle. No one's really here to stop him. But Nutri at level 1 is definitely not going to try.
Crossfair, you're about 2 minutes late, friend.
Oh, Nutri, I heard you asked for help. I'm here.
Sorry, lag.
It's definitely a bit too late at that point.
Yeah.
But this is just a good coordination play from MnM, I think, in the first couple of minutes to make sure Nutri doesn't have any nasty surprises for them, that they can control him.
I mean, energy has gone really low in this lane. CS advantage already going over to Kakan, and looks like energy's going to have to go back. Does have TP, so we can get back quite quickly, and Rifty and Artorias dance back and forth, just avoiding the Ruthless Predator, waiting for it to expire. That's kind of Rifty's cue that he can go a little bit more aggressive, but still not commit too heavily into Artorias. Renekton, early levels, terrible idea to get up in the face of.
Rifty has no doubt played this matchup hundreds of times. Again, he plays Jace as a main. He plays it in pretty much every competition we see him playing. He will pick Jace at least once. And he's done it here again today against a champion that he's come up against a lot in the Renekton. So he knows what to expect. He plays it himself. He knows the capabilities of the champion and can probably at least handle it in a lane that most people, I think, would struggle with.
Yeah, you can see there more of his camps have been denied there. He's only got one of the Krugs available. Nutri does pick up his red buff, though, so he's guaranteed 1 buff there. I mean, Candy Floss, if he really wanted to, after that kill, he could have just transitioned over to the red side and gone and stole that as well. But nice engage from Adam. Black Shield too late on the hedge. Already got the knock-up. Yeah, he's jumped over the binding. Explosive bomb ticking away. Another kill for Zandia onto Hedge. This bot lane's going to need some attention from Nutri, but Nutri's so far behind at the moment. Where is the support going to come from?
That's the problem. And realistically, you look at all of these MnM lanes and you think, as we've seen just the other day, they can beat nerdRage. You need a small advantage or a surprise, I think, to be able to turn this around into MnM. But when that surprise in the form of the Rumble jungle is out of the game and you've got losing lanes, essentially, it's so hard to play into. And I think even the top lane advantage to Renekton, or the advantage that you should have, Rifty is still making it look pretty easy to deal with him. Matching
CS at the moment. He's got pressure in the lane, and as of now, Renekton can still turn it around, though. Rifty is running low on mana. I mean, it's not going to be hard if Artorias gets on him to deal some serious damage. Look at that, though. Speaking of damage, Adam onto Prosfair. Chunked him a little bit there with the combination. Black Shield still coming too late.
Hedge very low.
Yeah, Hedge low. Zandia in the 1v1. Hasn't really invested all the gold. He's got the pickaxe over the double longsword, but it's not super amazing. Look at the damage coming out from Hedge. He's looking for the stun as well.
Cowbell.
He's going to get the auto attack. Bang. Tanking a couple of tower hits. Adam nice to flash out. Flash out from Prosfair. That's gone aggressive. But,
he's going for it.
Candy Floss will get exhausted, binded as well. might be potentially be a turnaround. But no, Candy Floss just going to assist working on this tower. But Adam, he went aggressive. As a support, he first for that kill. He went too bloodthirsty, had to flash out, forced a flash from Prospect, still died, but first tower of the game going down in 6 minutes 25. That's unreal.
Oh, Rifty's actually in trouble in the top lane here.
Artorias could have committed to that.
He could have, but had no cooldown, so it was a bit of a risk, but he does have flash.
Yeah, no, he's going to go through. He might be able to get sliced, diced, and flash if he wants to. Nah, it's too far away now. Yeah. Just going to proxy farm the wave. Adam paying a visit to top lane.
At this point, your bot lane is getting like your bot lane is crushing the opposition.
They should lane swap anyway. They've taken the tower.
Cowbell
needs more cowbell.
I love that cowbell.
But there's the taunt instead. Knocked him down. There's knock. I think he tried to knock him into the wall there rather than knock him to the safety of the brush.
Yeah. Oh, but or knock him into Baron Pit at least. But I think it's worth touching on as well that Candy Floss himself has shown his mastery, it feels, with this aggression in the early game in the jungle. He shut Nutri down. He's been to the bot lane and made sure Hedge is out of the game. He's now got all the time in the world to go and sit on Artorias and make sure he can't do anything, to sit in the mid lane and make this a little bit easier for Energy. Literally, all Energy has to do here is survive, and then that's it. Once Zandia gets to the mid to late game, they win. End of story.
Oh yeah, if he's bringing in the hero's entrance, there's no one on that team that is going to die if he brings in hero's entrance with the resistances. You've got Alistar to peel for them. You've got a Jarvan knock-up. Jarvan can even use Cataclysm to terraform the terrain around them, keep them locked in. And if things weren't bad enough for nerdRage, they're picking up the first Drake of the game. It's Infernal as well. Even more damage to contend with on the side of MnM.
2.5 minutes down at 8 minutes is so rough to be in. So rough a spot to be in even. And you can actually see as well, they forfeited the bot lane completely. That Hedge and Prosper have both gone to this top lane here thinking, you know what, we can't do anything about this. Let's just leave the lane and stop giving more and more kills over to Zandia.
Artorias is waiting for Zandia, but he's in a bad spot because Adam's collapsing on him. He needs to find somewhere to go. There's the knock-up. He's already stunned him. Knocks him back when he went for the slice and dice.
Cowbell.
Oh, look at the damage already. That's a BF sword, a pickaxe on the Tristana, the CC from Adam, and the explosive bomb on top of his head. There is nothing that Artorias could have done about that. Energy seems to be relishing in the victories of his team. Hasn't really had an impact himself yet, but he still wants to celebrate. Yeah, he's down by 10 CS. He's still celebrating though. He's happy with what his team's doing. I mean, look at this. Look at that snapshot. 3K in gold lead, 4 kills ahead. They got a tower and a dragon on the opposite against nerdRage. I mean, he's got all the reason to celebrate.
I mean, we kind of played this off as the game to watch, but so far it's feeling like the one to turn your eyes away from because it's such a brutal crushing of those who sit at the top of the table. Prosper.
No flash. Is the hero's entrance really necessary?
Yes. He got the kill.
I mean, no flash on Prosper just yet. Black Shield stops the knock-up. You can't Black Shield a Cataclysm. The damage was there. Hero's entrance, unnecessary. Energy actually ended up stealing the kill.
It feels like now if they can force down this top tower and take the mid tower as well, they can start pushing Vision inside the red jungle to make life even harder for Nutri. That was their attempt at an engage, and it completely failed.
Yeah, well, the Corrupting Change just got shut down because he flag dragged himself to safety, and the Equalizer didn't even get a tick of damage on him. So, I mean, that was the first attempt. We can give him a pass on that one. If it continues to be a problem for nerdRage with this combination, I don't see the game lasting very long.
Nah, it's just going the same way as the early game, really. Nutri still hasn't managed to find an avenue to get into the game. We were talking, of course, about this Rumble in the Jungle being the big savior that nerdRage need to shut down the machine that is MnM and Candy Floss in particular. It's just nothing has gone their way. Everything is working against Nutri right now. He must be feeling super frustrated, especially when you consider all of his lanes are losing, bar maybe the mid lane, and he just can't make an impact because he doesn't have a champion that can have impacts.
Yeah, like we said, he's very dependent on his laners if he's looking for ganks, and he was supposed to bring the damage, but he's not even completed his jungle item yet against Candy Floss, who's sitting on that Warrior's enchantment. He's really going to struggle as this game progresses. Luckily, he has kept up in farm. He's out CSing Candy Floss, but when your lanes are already over for your top and your bot lane, I don't know what you can do. Where'd you go? Do you go mid? Try and possibly get shut down Energy? I mean, he does extremely well against magic resist, so what are you going to be able to do? Which lane do you choose as Nutri to try and have impact as he's getting evaded again?
The answer is you've got to worry more about yourself here, worry about #1 rather than your teammates at this point.
Look how many members are in that jungle. 3 members. We've only just passed the 10-minute mark, and it's 3 members in the jungle looking for kills. They're so deep, they have absolute control. The damage coming out from Candy Floss is insane as he just decimates Prosphere. And Hedge, I don't know why you flashed there. You were going to die regardless. There's the equalizer of the clock chain. This is the combination that nerdRage mean. Kakan and Nutri collapse with the damage. Only find the kill onto Candy Floss so far. Nutri's going to lose his life, but that was a glimmer of the damage that can be output from nerdRage, and they need to find more of those opportunities.
This is only from Kakan, who's had a good bit of farm thus far. Just doesn't really have an item still, and Candy Floss invested everything to try and get onto Prosphere there. Had the flash remaining, chose not to use it. Was quite happy to say, you know what, we'll take this one. We'll take it on the chin, and Adam almost taking it to the backside there, but doesn't get caught out and will walk away. Overall, a very, very good trade for MnM still.
Cheeky little flash coming out from Adam there. Keeps himself alive. Kakan and Artorias forced to this top lane to try and keep it alive. It's running on life support at the moment. It's not got much to go. It asks the question, what can they do around the map now? Because Tristana's going to rotate down to this middle lane, or just go and ward maybe. But you got Galio going to the mid lane. That's what they've sent Hedge right now, and there's not many places Hedge is safe, as Zandy is trying to demonstrate right now. Nope. Doesn't quite have the impact of the last Tristana we saw. Well, we were looking at engagements from Tristana slightly later on into the game, so I'm not surprised there. Is still sitting on that BF sword and pickaxe. But I think the real shame at the moment is Hedge, 0, 4, and 2. And it's only going to get worse for him. He's probably going to be the focus of a lot of these fights to just keep him out of it. Top lane tower going to go down. 2 towers to 0 for MnM Gaming. And it's only 12 minutes into the game. But the numbers and the stats that are very representative of a game much later than that. It's a very slow snowball for MnM. They aren't outright walking through the map and just crushing them every time they see them. It feels that way against Hedge sometimes, but they're finding themselves at 5,000 gold lead. About 6 minutes ago, it was a 2,500 gold lead. It's not like there's a sudden massive increase where they're walking through all the towers on the map. They are playing it quite methodically and being wary that, you know, nerdRage do have the possibility to come back into this game. It's just they were not prepared at all for that early game invade, and I think that's maybe a bit of naivety on nerdRage's side here. Maybe Nutri, you know, maybe should have had some awareness and said, guys, chances are they're going to try and invade us here because they know if I'm out the game, I'm useless. Let's get some early wards down. Let's make sure we're aware that I might need some support early on. It just wasn't there to be. Everyone was quite happy just shoving their lanes and farming away as he got absolutely slaughtered in the first 3 minutes. Yeah, well, they're making an effort onto mid lane with the Rift Herald. You saw Energy and Adam try and initiate with their CC combinations, but one got black shielded, one got scattered the weak back. You can see Zandia looking for Nutri. There's the follow-up from Adam to lock him in place. Flash comes out. There's the stun. Chain CC onto Zandia. The Hero's entrance comes in to keep him alive, but Artorias still doing work. Oh. There we go. Flash and ultimate to keep Artorias away. Can they turn it around? That's an isolated area for Kakan to do some damage, and he finds Adam. You don't really want to take out the support, though. Energy looking for the kill. Hedge, Prosphere, but here comes Rift. Doesn't matter. Energy picks up a double. Candy Floss and Rifty are going to work onto Hedge once he gets free. Can Rifty get the long-range QE? Can he eyeball it onto Nutri? No, it's too far away. That's the second time now that MnM have said, you know what, okay, you can have the cow, or you can have the man in shining armor, but we'll take 4 of your members and we'll take a tower to boot. And they're just slowly running away with it. We did say before it was kind of a more slow, methodical approach, but when, you know, Nutri positions himself in that way that your AD carry, Zandia, can stand there and 1v1 him, it's mispositioning. Equally for nerdRage, they're just going to bleed out if they keep on playing the game this way, and I think maybe now it's even far too late. They're 8k behind at 15 minutes in. The thing that fascinates me the most about this game, though, is that they are taking all these engagements, they are having all these fights, they're getting all these picks in nerdRage's jungle. And look at the vision control they have, especially the blue side. They've got so many wards on that side to keep clear vision. One by the blue pit is being denied by control wards, but even if they don't have the vision, they move in, they make it, they find picks. Look at this, Adam waiting in a bush. No way he knew they was there. Prosphere in serious danger of going down. There's the route onto Zandia, and he's going to go down. They've bitten off a little bit more than they can shoot in this matchup. Adam still running for his life. Artorias has teleported in. So the bot lane, maybe if they had that vision, that wouldn't have happened. But they've just gone down and been decimated, but just being outnumbered, really. They are, and despite all the advantages that MnM have taken, they're only just ahead in CS in the bot lane. They're only just ahead in the top lane, and they're only just ahead in the mid lane. They've been focused too much on this kill style, kill base kind of gain that they've been trying to force through thus far. And yes, they've got 14 kills. Yes, they're very far in the lead. But
their actual kind of tangible difference it feels between them isn't that massive. If they come into a skirmish, nerdRage can stand up on their own 2 legs quite easily.
They've got a 7k goal difference in 15 minutes, Des. So whatever they're doing in terms of kills, yes, they might be falling short on the CS. They probably could extend their CS leads if they stuck to the lanes a little bit more, but in terms of gold, they are walking away with this game. I'll be interested to see some individual gold matchups between these 2 players. I mean, look at some of the stats coming out here while they're just clearing wards. You got
Jungle is the big one.
Jungle's the big one, yeah. Like I said, 2.5k over his opposing man, Candy Floss. Rifty, he's 1.5k. Mid lane, 500, not so much. 1.8k in the bot lane. Just from AD carries, and the supports is about 1.2 as well. Second Drake of the game going over to MnM. So they've got the Ocean Drake, they've got the regeneration, they've got the damage. It's a nice platter of bonuses they're going to pick themselves up as Nutri might be caught again, but Kakan,
he's getting caught first.
He gets caught first. Equalizer comes down, but it's all in vain because Energy picks up the kill. So they're still finding these picks in their jungle.
And it's all down to the wall coverage that they've got as well.
Yeah, but that's what happens. They do it in the blue side, it's successful. They do it in the red side where they have no vision, it goes straight in their face.
It can do. I mean, they're still trading kills when they do go for the red side fights, but the blue side has definitely worked out a lot better for them. In fact, it must have felt like deja vu for Nutri, because that's exactly where he got caught last time too. The vision and control, we speak about it all the time in these games when we watch them. We always say, now that those 3 towers are down the outside, you can start pushing in these deep walls down. Blue side is lit up like a Christmas tree. Every time Nutri's breeze in that jungle, they are there ready to catch him out of place.
But it's so important to have that vision at the moment because they've got the mid and the bot split. You can see Rift and Adam, they went down there, they dealt with the tower whilst the pressure was being put on mid. They had a clean, clear and safe path to do so. If they maintain that vision control, they can keep pressuring these 2 lanes and just flexing between them with no problems whatsoever.
Although now that they've taken out that bot tower, they will change all of that vision to be on the top side of the map and look towards the Baron that's coming up in 2 minutes' time. They've had this kind of period of freedom, we could say, where they've been able to just play as much as they want in the bot side, but now they've got to remember, we're in this to win this, we've got to start taking some more objectives now. Those towers are down, and Baron is the logical choice to go for. If nothing else, you set up a Baron bait and try and catch out Nutri, because he's got no mobility, he's got his flash up, and that's literally all he's got to defend himself. If he wants to even try and contest this Baron, he will get melted.
If I'm Nutri at the moment, I'm begging my mid laner and AD carry to use those scrying orbs. I do not want to be going into this jungle blind anymore. The amount of times he's been caught, he's probably going to have PTSD at the end of this game.
Never want to see a Jarvan again.
Never wants to see anyone again. No one in this jungle. He was demanding his team stays out of it as well. But Adam, doing all that control ward as he's looking to put some pressure onto the top lane, trying to wedge them underneath the inner tower and wait for the rest of the team to catch up. We're going to clear that vision now. Energy leading the charge onto the tower. Here's Adam from the side. Hasn't got the wave to initiate just yet. He's got 4 members top side. You can see Rift's going back to that bot lane yet again. He has got teleport available. Artorias does not. So he's going to try and split the team, but waves on it. They've cleared it. They're trying to keep the team back from this tower so they can clear it out with the explosive charge. Hedge took some damage from that from the side, but they're very aware of where Adam is, and they're not letting him in. They're not giving him an avenue to get to that back line just yet.
And there's no TP on Artorias here, so he can't really afford to sit and match Rifty's push in this bot lane. He's just got a free lane ready to push up here. They're having to sacrifice this tower. In fact, they've all backed off and left it just for Zania to push in and take pretty much for free.
It's, you know, we keep speaking about it in different ways, but it's the fight or flight around towers. They are forcing them to make these choices, and sometimes nerdRage will make the wrong choice and they'll capitalize off the top of it. But I feel like they've made the lesser of 2 evils there in terms of their choice. They didn't stay at the tower. I think you should just concede that tower. They've got you in a vice. You can't contest it, because otherwise you're just going to lose more bodies. And in the position that MnM are in, if you lose 3 members of your team, they can probably go ahead and do something like this anyway.
That was silly. The only reason he walked there is because he saw that the ward was exposed and thought, oh, there's a pink ward there, and clear it out. No one's there because it's not dead. It's the oldest trick in the book, and he fell for it like no one's business.
I mean, Hedge at this point should not be traveling alone anywhere. You just knew that MnM were in your topside jungle. They had control. What's Prospere doing there? I have no idea. Adam gonna get locked up. Flash out from Prospere. There's the flash in from Zandia. Gonna find another kill. 6, 1, and 5 at the moment.
It's like we said a couple of minutes ago, they don't even have to bother taking the Baron here because it's
20-minute Baron.
nerdRage will just keep on walking in and trying to see, okay, can we get some vision on this Baron? Answer is no.
What I was trying to say before Hedge got like decimated was that it's 20 minutes, they're in a great position, they're so far ahead, they could do the 20-minute Baron. They caught out Hedge, they caught out caught out Prospect, sorry. There's the equalizer being dropped onto the Baron, hoping he can get a tick, but Energy might just solo Nutri out. We're giving him the opportunity to get away, but he's forced him so far back from the Baron, he can't follow up on the equalizer. Just going to try and slow him down in whatever capacity. Baron Nashor and Hedge by himself yet again does flash out the Cataclysm, blasting cone to get to safety. There's some fancy footwork he could have done with 6 deaths ago.
Well, 6 deaths wouldn't put us in the state we're at the game now, so you wouldn't have seen this exact play unraveling once again, but it's worth touching on Energy very quickly too. He's so confident with the way this game's going, he's going to put himself a Medjai's.
Yep.
Now, you never see a Medjai's purely because teams then say, hey, big target on your forehead, you're going down. You can't bring this guy down. Look at the items he's got. He's got all of the stone plate now. He's got the mask as well. Anything to the adaptive helm, sorry. There's just so much defense on this guy, and you can't even focus on killing Energy because no doubt then Zandia will appear out of nowhere and destroy you.
Well, I mean, Kakan's really prepped for the MR-heavy matchup that is Energy. He's gone for that Haunting Guy's second item, no doubt going to turn that into a Leandries to try and compensate against some really tanky members. You've got to deal with an Alistar, you've got to deal with a Galio, you've got the Jarvan who's already completed the Mora Mortius. There's a lot of MR to shred through if you're a Syndra, and you need to try and be a threat to stop these dives from happening. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter. With those items anyway, he could probably burst out Zandia if he's not paying attention properly.
He needs to be very wary, but the question is here, how do they stop Zandia's push coming through? Because top lane is pretty exposed right now.
So is the bot lane. Look where Rifty is at the moment. He's nearly on that tower.
Tristana just shreds these towers so quick at this stage in the game that you can't even afford to give her 3 seconds on the tower because she will do what she's done just there and take the majority of the health.
You can't give Rifty 3 seconds on the tower either. I'm sure we cut down there. He's working on that. He's already got it at half health. Artorias going. Hero's entrance onto Rifty. They're just going to switch the focus onto this tower. I don't think he can continue, but he can definitely take the tower. Energy looking for it instead. I mean, in the meantime, they've got that top tower as well. Energy being a frontline tank for Rifty at the moment. Equalizer goes down to cut off the easiest path of entry or exit. As he's going to go, he will drop, but they took the top lane inhibitor while that was going on. You've got a middle wave that's in position to take that tower as well. They could free tower 4v5 at this point. I think they're that far ahead.
They could, and I think really their 10 stacks of Medjai's is worth an inhibitor in the top lane. It was a lot of committal to bring Energy down, and he completely... The thing I really laughed at was he missed up the flash taunt that he went for. Yeah. He taunted before he flashed. I stood there like, oh, hey man, how's it going? And did find himself getting collapsed on pretty quickly. Not that it makes a big difference, to be honest. It was his first death of the game. They've only got 6 between them as a team. They've got 18 kills. They're 13,000 gold in the lead. For nerdRage now, a comeback is nigh on impossible, because they just cannot afford to even step outside their base. We've already seen the vision control coming out of MnM time and time again. It's so difficult to deal with.
You got an exposed inhibitor in the bot lane. Your only tower that's protecting your base at the moment is that mid lane tower, and Tristana's coming in with a teleport onto that Baron-empowered minion to keep things alive. Kakan doing his best to try and wave clear. Taunt is out from Energy to clear a path to the tower, and there you go. There are no base towers remaining. It's only the ones remaining on the Nexus. There's some inhibs that could do some work. They're going to back out, though. They've taken a little bit too much damage on Zandia and on to Candy Floss as well. Baron-empowered minions, Rifty's just escorting him in. Look at the damage, he's still turning it around onto Artorias. Look at him go! Pops the Dominus to try and stay alive. He still gets him though. That's the Blade of the Rune King on a Black Cleaver with Jace. Cataclysm onto Kakan. Adam comes in, headbutts him into a wall and makes sure he stays dead, but Rift will lose his life. It's like losing a molecule in your body. It changes absolutely nothing. You've lost it, you don't feel the difference because they're still impacting onto this tower. 3 lanes. Baron Nashor still on the go. Corrupted Chains come out. Adam goes in for the initiation. Hero's entrance comes in as well. Meanwhile, Prospect gets deleted before the chains connect. Nutri trying to turn on the damage onto Zandia, but guess what? You get out damaged, my friend. No one left to defend the base. Nexus turrets going down. MnM absolutely decimate nerdRage.
Well, you said it earlier on. nerdRage did get 2-0 the other day. You may as well make it a 3-0 combination there, because that was one knockout punch coming out of MnM. They made that look easy. You would never guess that nerdRage were one of the top